Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a sweet little girl who was loved by everyone, especially her grandmother. Her grandmother made her a beautiful red hooded cape, which she wore so often that everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother gave her a basket of goodies and said,
"Take this to your grandmother who is sick and living in the cottage in the woods. Stay on the path and don't talk to strangers."
Little Red Riding Hood cheerfully set off into the forest. Along the way, she met a big, sly wolf.
Where are you going, little girl?
"I'm going to my grandmother's house to bring her some treats."
The wolf had a wicked plan. He thought, "I will trick this little girl and eat both her and her grandmother." He asked,
Why don't you pick some flowers for your grandmother? She would love them.
As Little Red Riding Hood got distracted picking flowers, the wolf ran straight to the grandmother's house. Instead of eating her right away, he hid her in a cupboard, planning to wait for Little Red Riding Hood to arrive so he could eat them both together. The wolf put on the grandmother's nightgown, wore her glasses, and lay in her bed, waiting. When Little Red Riding Hood finally arrived, she found the door slightly open. "Grandmother, I'm here," she called. The wolf, pretending to be the grandmother, replied in a frail voice, "Come in, dear." Little Red Riding Hood entered and approached the bed. She noticed something was different.
"Grandmother, what big ears you have!"
All the better to hear you with, my dear.
"Grandmother, what big eyes you have!"
All the better to see you with, my dear.
"Grandmother, what big hands you have!"
All the better to hug you with, my dear.
"Grandmother, what big teeth you have!"
All the better to eat you with.
The wolf growled, jumping out of bed. Just as the wolf was about to grab her, the door burst open, and a brave hunter rushed in. He had heard strange noises while passing by and came to check. With a mighty swing of his wooden club, he struck the wolf, sending him fleeing out of the house and deep into the woods. The hunter then freed the frightened grandmother from the cupboard. Little Red Riding Hood hugged her tightly, relieved and happy. From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood always listened to her mother's advice and never strayed from the path again. And the big bad wolf? He never dared to trouble anyone again.